Hi, my name is Chris Shoemaker, and this is my presentation on the Students First Act of 2011. This is part of my EDS course, IL 707. Today I'll be covering, under the Students First Act of 2011, who is covered, what is protected, and what are the specifics. Under the category of what are the specifics, I'll be looking at non-renewals and terminations, reassignments and transfers, suspensions, and partial cancellations and reductions in force. For starters, who is covered under the Students First Act of 2011? We have the LEAs, or local education agencies, and local boards of education. We have two-year colleges and their governing board, Department of Youth Services, and we also have tenured teachers and non-probationary classified employees. Now, under LEAs and boards of education, the CEOs and superintendents are covered under the Students First Act of 2011. While they are not tenured employees, they are covered because they have the power to make the necessary personnel decisions for the district. Similarly, with two-year colleges and governing boards, those two-year college presidents are also covered under the Students First Act of 2011 for the same reasons I listed for superintendents and CEOs. Also, with the Department of Youth Services, these youth correctional facilities, their leadership and the leaders of those areas are covered under the Students First Act of 2011. The main focus of this presentation will deal with this last bullet here, tenured teachers and non-probationary classified employees. I'll be going into more detail on the next slides. What is protected under the Students First Act of 2011? The main protection under this act are personnel decisions and the hearings that go along with that, along with tenure status and non-probationary status. Regarding personnel decisions, the Students First Act of 2011 reassigned the power to make these personnel decisions, such as hearings, back to the local boards of education and the LEAs. It shifted this power away from the state. Tenure status, redefined under the Students First Act of 2011, includes teachers that can earn status of tenure upon the completion of 3 consecutive years within the same school and school system. Similarly, two-year college professors earn tenure status after 6 consecutive semesters or 3 years. This is a little bit different than the teachers in schools regarding tenure, in that courses change, course offerings change, that sort of thing. And so 6 consecutive semesters is the exact wording under the Students First Act of 2011 for two-year college professors. As for non-probationary status, classified employees must work 3 consecutive years in the position in order to be moved from probationary to non-probationary status. What are the specifics under the Students First Act of 2011? We will look at non-renewals and terminations first. Under this bullet, I have CEO Superintendent Decision. As I mentioned earlier, non-renewals and terminations, the power has been shifted to the superintendents to make this decision. This 15-day bullet I have here is regarding notification and the continuation of compensation and benefits. Employees being non-renewed and terminated must be notified by the school system, within 15 days of that date. And on the back end, compensation and benefits is set to run a minimum of 15 days past the date of non-renewal or termination. Teachers who have tenure status can have a hearing in front of the Board of Education regarding the decision. Non-tenured teachers and probationary classified employees do not have this right to a hearing. You may be wondering what this June 15th, 30th date is in reference to. June 15th is the deadline that school districts have to make their decision regarding non-renewals and terminations. If the decision is made after that or no notice is given, the employee is considered rehired or reemployed. There is an exception to this, and that's where June 30th comes in. On the quadrennial date of the state legislature, which is every 4 years, this date is moved from June 15th to June 30th. So every 4 years, the last day, as far as terminations and non-renewals go, is June 30th versus June 15th on those other years. Continuing on with the specifics, we'll look at reassignments and transfers. Reassignments and transfers are allowable by the superintendent. He or she can make that decision. This decision must be made and an employee must be notified if they are being reassigned or transferred by the 20th day of the school year. These next three bullets kind of go hand in hand: position, compensation, and location. A non-tenured or probationary employee may be moved in position for less compensation at a different location at the discretion of the superintendent. This is protected as a specific under the Students First Act of 2011. When it comes to tenured teachers and non-probationary classified employees, they too can be moved to a different position with less compensation in a location outside of the high school feeder pattern to which they serve. However, if this is done at the decision of the superintendent, tenured teachers and non-probationary classified employees can be granted a hearing in front of the Board of Education to hear the reasons they are against a change in position, change in compensation, and change in location. Continuing with the specifics under the Students First Act of 2011, we'll look at terminations, specifically certificate actions. License revocation. If a license is revoked, the position is considered immediately terminated. If a decision is overturned regarding licensure, then the position is considered reinstated. It's very important to note that in any situation regarding licensure revocation, that termination can be considered immediate, and also the decision, if overturned, can be reinstated. Regarding suspensions, there are different types of suspensions. We will look at paid administrative leave, which the superintendent can place an employee on paid administrative leave. If the leave is less than 20 days, a hearing or conference with the school board does not have to be granted. If the suspension is greater than 20 days, a tenured or non-probationary classified employee may be granted a conversation or discussion with the board, not necessarily a hearing, but that suspension or paid leave must be greater than 20 days under the Students First Act of 2011. Under reinstatement and compensation, if any tenured or non-probationary employee is reinstated, back pay will be issued and the teacher will be reinstated back to their previous position. Finally, under one of the specifics, we have partial cancellations and reduction in force. This can be done due to a variety of things that I have listed here: enrollment, revenue, and then notice and hearing. So enrollment and revenue are the two main reasons for partial cancellations and reduction in force. Teachers can be let go or their position can be lost due to lower numbers of student enrollment, which this impacts the budgets for the local schools and school districts. If there's also been notice in a loss of revenue being generated by the schools through reduce in funding and that sort of thing, positions can be lost, which could result in partial cancellations and reduction in force. Non-tenured teachers and probationary classified employees do not have to be given notice of this reduction in force or partial cancellation, nor do they have the right to a hearing in front of the Board of Education. However, the protections to tenured teachers and non-probationary classified employees under the Students First Act of 2011, they do have to be given written notice of the move or reduction in force or loss of position, and they do have a right to a hearing in front of the Board of Education. Those are just a few of the major details outlined within the Students First Act of 2011. A couple of references that I found very helpful in doing this presentation. First, the Alabama State Bar. If you go to this link that I have here, it has the exact court document of the Students First Act of 2011. It does contain some legalese and some verbiage that may be harder to understand. However, if you want to reference the exact document, it is here at this link under the Alabama State Bar. Another resource and reference that I find very helpful, not only for this project, but for all leadership and administrative matters across the state, is the Council for Leaders in Alabama Schools website, the CLAS website. This website is a valuable resource, provides lots of great information, and specifically with this project, the Students First Act of 2011, this link here really breaks down the nuts and bolts and makes it very easy to read and gives you a nice snapshot of the Students First Act of 2011. Hope you enjoyed my presentation. and I'm looking forward to the other information and presentations for the rest of this course. Thank you.